Okay, let's see if we're live again and stay live. I don't know what happened before, but they decided that Google decided to log me out of everything while I was live. So now I have to go back live on here and double check everybody for whatever reason. It decided when I went back and checked on the live on Facebook. As soon as I have that window open. So I don't know what's going on, but everything's freezing over here. While I'm doing this, I can't do anything. As soon as I pop the window open over here. Okay, so we're not going to be doing that then. If I can get this to close, we'll have to do this again. Yeah, for whatever reason. Okay, so apparently I'm still live. Not quite sure what's happening here. For some reason, weird stuff is going on over here. So I am still alive. I don't know what's going on. Everything was freezing for a second there. So I'm not sure what's happening there, but I am still alive. So I apologize for that because for some reason, Facebook is freezing my computer. And I'm not quite sure what's going on there. So I apologize for that, but I am still alive and I've been alive the whole time and I didn't know that. So I'm going to fix this here. And so I'm not sure what that was about. Okay, so hopefully you guys are seeing me. I apologize for all of this because I don't know what was happening here, but for some reason, every time I went to a split screen with Facebook and StreamYard, it would freeze my computer and it was trying to crash everything. So I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know if we're live. It looks like we're live on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, but I don't have Instagram open, so I apologize for that. But it does look like I'm live. So share this out, everybody. I'm going to try and share it out and see if I am actually live on Facebook here. And share it, find out what's going on here. So let me go to my page and make sure that I'm actually live, right? On my page, and I am live there. I'll be able to share this out and see what's going on here, right? Not quite sure why everything was acting the way it's acting. Trying to go live today and talk about some stuff that's going on around the world here, especially with this whole meteor thing that's about to happen, right? You got a meteor that is coming close to Earth. I'm sharing this out as we're talking here, so I apologize. Well, we got this meteor that's coming close to Earth. There's two of them, as a matter of fact, and both of them, one's going to be coming soon, and people are going to be able to see it in the sky. And now you got people running around trying to scare everybody in the world, saying the sky is falling, the world's coming to an end. And all meteors, as they come near Earth, are always robots now. They're always some sort of spaceship with aliens on board, or some sort of drone or something coming around to come and make contact. So first contact is going to happen because aliens are coming here because they're in this meteor, this asteroid that's coming by, like Momoa. When Momoa came by, everybody was freaked out because Momoa was here, and it was everybody just knew that Momoa. I don't even know if I'm live right now. I apologize because I'm not getting any numbers, so I'm also not getting anything in the chat. So I apologize for that. It says I'm live on. Let's see. It says I'm live on on YouTube right now, so I'm going to go there and click on the live and make sure that that's up. It looks like it's up, but it looks like it was up for 10 minutes and then it went down and now it's back up. It looks like, so I can see the chat there if you guys are over there. Yeah, it looks like I am live there, so that's good. So we'll see what filters into the StreamYard thing. So I do apologize for that. I don't know what was going on with my computer, but for some reason, when I opened up a couple of windows, it just taxed my internet or my computer. I'm not sure what was going on, but I was opening separate windows. I had 4 windows open to monitor chats and the program. And the second I opened Facebook and scrolled down to my live, and there were 4 live pictures on 4 windows, which are, I have 3 up right now, doing the same thing, but I had them separated into screen within screens on 2 computers. For some reason, that would just freeze. And then I didn't know if I was dropped off the internet, so I apologize for that. So I was up, then down, then up, then down, right? So, but now I'm up, and it looks like I'm not live over here. Let me see what's going on over here. Wait for the lag to catch up because it looks like I'm behind for some reason, the live. Not quite sure what's going on with that. Yeah, not quite sure why that's that way. Trying to go to live over here to see the live. And now I think I'm finally over there. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but I am live there and I'm live on Facebook. So I apologize sharing this out. You guys share it out too, because I am live at a very weird time. Didn't tell anybody that I was going live. I just went live. Didn't go live on Friday, Saturday. For those of you in America, it's Sunday right now. It's Monday for me over here in Australia. So yeah, I apologize for that with all the technical difficulties. Not quite sure what's going on with the technical difficulties, but everything decided. Google logged me out of every account that I was logged into, like Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, anything that I was logged into. When you say log in with Facebook or whatever, it just logged me out of everything. And I'm not quite sure why, because I was online, everything was fine. I went to every single place, and then I went live. And then when I went live, weirdly, Google logged me out of everything and made me re-log in and then Facebook made me log in. And said it was suspicious activity, and then everybody had me log in. YouTube had me log in again. StreamYard had me log in again. And apparently I was live the whole time. StreamYard was trying to have me log in, and then I was trying to log in, and it wasn't sending me to the right account. It was annoying. So not quite sure what's going on, but I'm back. I'm live, and I don't know if anybody is here because I'm not getting any numbers, so I don't even know if I'm showing, but it's saying that I am. Right. And then there's weird stuff going on with my account on my phone. Don't sure what's going on over there. But yeah, it just Google, for whatever reason, decided to log me out of all my accounts and make me verify that I am who I am, including verify my computer as a legitimate computer for whatever reason. So I don't even know if my phones can log into accounts. So I'm going to try and do that. My phone logs in just fine. So let me go and look on my phone and see if I'm live there too. Yeah, it says I'm live. So yeah, that's crazy that that was happening like that. Not sure what was going on or why Google decided to log me out when I went live trying to talk and talk about what's going on, weirdly. So, okay, so let's just get right into it. And those of you who show up, and those of you who don't show up, don't show up. But share this out, please. So yeah, I'm at a weird impromptu time. I felt the need to come live and talk instead of doing my show on Friday. I have normally came live on Monday or Tuesday to do off-topic stuff. So okay, let's talk about these comments that are flying by. Okay, Momoa. All of a sudden, there was something that went by a few years ago, and everybody was going, "It was a spaceship. It had to have been some sort of spaceship," and it was coming by. And look, it turned around and came back. There's no proof that it turned around and came back. Just so you guys know. Okay, there is nothing saying that it turned around and came back, but it is turning around. They were saying, everybody said that it turned around, and that it was had to have been some, million-year-old. 2 million, 5 million year old spaceship that was designed to fly around by some group of people that are probably long since dead and record everything. So people made up their theories about what was going on. So now we have two asteroids that are coming near to the Earth, one of which comes near to the Earth over and over every few years, just like Halley's Comet comes every 58 years. There's certain comets, asteroids that go by the Earth at certain time that people have been knowing about for all of time, going back thousands and thousands of years. Okay. And for whatever reason, people have lost their mind and forgot this. And now they're saying that everything that comes by the Earth anywhere is some sort of spaceship. They did it with Halley's Comet too. Those of you who might not be old enough, back in the 80s when Halley's Comet came through, there was a cult. I don't know how many people, something like 30 or some odd people, decided that in the tail of the comet, which is just ice crystals melting because they're close to the sun, and the comets, if they have water in them or ice in them, they begin to melt and they leave a streak, okay, behind it. So that's the tail of a comet. And people believed that there was a UFO in the tail of the comet, and there was a cult that decided if they killed themselves and broke out of their bodies, that their immortal souls could then make contact with this alien spaceship, and the aliens would capture their souls and bring them on board because they were trying to go home, and their alien friends were on board that spacecraft. And I know that this sounds like a movie and sounds crazy, but it actually happened in real life. And people decided that they needed to drink poison, dress up in a gown, drink poison so they could all die, and they could all go and hop onto the spaceship and take off with a UFO. So that happened in the 1980s around the world somewhere. I don't know if it was probably in the United States. I'm not exactly sure. Usually crazy ideas like that end up in the United States. But I remember watching it on the news, and they went and found, they even showed people laying in bed dead. They were all wearing these robes, this big long robe that looked like it was made out of felt or some plastic derivative or something, and it was brown, I think I remember. And they believed that Halley's Comet had an alien spaceship hiding in the tail, and they were going to go catch it. Put out their thumb, kill themselves, put out their thumb as a spirit and catch an alien ship so they can go home. So they did that. So you have the people that do that. Okay, so now here we are. Everybody with this E1 or whatever it is, and the other one, the A1 or A2, whatever they're called. I don't remember what they're called. One's called A1 2025, and the other one's E1 2023 or something like that. I didn't even look it up. I just was watching it on the news, and I'm seeing it all over the internet, and people are saying first contact's going to be here tomorrow. Okay. And because the aliens are coming, they're going to fly by Earth, and they're going to turn right, and they're going to come down, and they're going to go, "Hi, how you doing? We're here because you guys are cool, and we wanted to meet you." If that happens, then our government's going to shoot at it. I do know that there's a false flag, alien invasion that people that are in the governments and in the know, and the governments have been claiming for 20 years or so that the government has something planned like that, to when they're losing their power, they can press a button and there's this fake alien invasion, and then all of a sudden the aliens start killing people and blowing up cities, and then out of nowhere, magically, this technology that we have here that our governments weren't telling all the people of the world about, miraculously, we have all this secret government weapons that we didn't tell you guys about because we just needed it against these aliens, and we were hiding it in case the aliens were here plotting to come down here. And good thing we were hiding it from all of you guys, because the aliens decided to come down here, and they probably have boots on the ground somewhere, so we got to find them. And now we need to get rid of all governments, and we need to stop fighting amongst ourselves so we can fight the big bad aliens, and it's them doing it. Okay, so now you have people that are propagating that all over the internet, that we're going to have aliens that are going to come down here and land in the next few days because it's the first contact, right? No one ever used that word first contact until the Star Trek series back 30 years ago had a movie that they put out that was called First Contact. And it was about them having to go backwards in time to go and help the humans, because the Vulcans came at first contact, and the Borg was trying to go backwards in time to stop first contact, because the humans were in fact winning the war against the Borg in the future. So they were going back in time to destroy the Earth and to integrate the Earth population as Borg before first contact so they could conquer this sector of the universe. Again, having the idea that everything is surrounded by in the universe by the humans because we're the most important planet in the entire universe. So that was the movie. It was a good movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Star Trek fan. It was a good movie. But that's not what's happening. So no one used the word first contact till the first contact. And then all of a sudden it was first contact everywhere. So now first contact is going to be in the next couple of days because there is in fact a asteroid that we're going to start seeing in the sky as it gets closer to Earth. We're going to be able to start seeing it, and they're telling everybody that it's going to be coming between the Earth and the Moon, that close to the Earth, and either the end of the world because we just had the supposed rapture, Christian rapture, that just happened the other day, last week, and nothing happened. So we must all be left behind because nobody disappeared, and no one's talking about that. Right, that was all of a sudden it was supposed to be here, and then oops, then it wasn't here, and everybody was talking about it. So the Christian rapture didn't happen. So now we have the alien spacecrafts that are pretending to be asteroids that are going to come flying by, and then they're going to have first contact because they're going to turn and tell us and reveal themselves to us because it's time for the aliens to tell us that, right? So that's going to be bunk, and it's not going to happen, and it's not going to happen tomorrow, and it's not going to happen the next day, and it's not going to happen, when this asteroid gets near to the Earth. Okay, then you have prophecies that tell you that this asteroid's going to kill the Earth, and it's going to be the end of the world as we know it. Right, so start singing that REM song. It's the end of the world, and then everybody run crazy and start killing each other. That's the whole purpose of all that misinformation is to tell you that it's not happening. Okay, yeah, there's an asteroid that's coming by, just like the one that came by before that, and the one that came by before that. They're going to come by. People are going to see it, and they're going to see it online. They're going to be looking at it. It's not an alien spaceship that is, in fact, pretending that has the facade of a asteroid so it can get close to the world. See, this is one of those things where the greatest trick the devil ever pulled is getting us to not believe that he even existed. Well, if that's the case, then how do we have that saying? How do we know the devil existed and that's his greatest trick? Obviously, he's not a very good trickster because we know the devil exists. Everyone does because you hear about it all over the place. And you know that the greatest trick he ever pulled was to get us to think he didn't exist. Well, weird because everybody has that saying and they've been saying it forever because everybody says there's a devil and that he's evil and that he's trying to take over the world. So he's not doing a good idea hiding. Well, it's because he's stupid because we're smarter than him. So aliens came by and they're coming by Earth and they didn't want Earth to see them, but they're coming here to make first contact. Wait, never mind that. Put that over here. Take your brain out. Set that over here. Aliens who are flying closer to Earth and they're going to be seen by Earth are disguising themselves as a rock that's just floating in Earth so they can get close to Earth without Earth noticing it, yet we know about it. So how did that happen? So did they communicate with people down here and they said, well, we're flying over to see you, but we're secretly flying over like an asteroid because we're afraid that your governments are going to attack us. So we're going to sneak in and get real close. Then we're going to go, guess what? Boo, we're here right around Halloween time. And then they don't think that the governments are going to shoot at them? No, because we're close enough to render their weapons inert. And so that's an invading army. It's not friends making first contact. Do you understand the childlike scenario that's happening here? No. See, because the evil people and the governments, they are going to be stopped by the good aliens. So now the aliens are our saviors. There's your modus operandi for people who are the ones who try to take over planets, by the way. They come down and they show up and they go, there's evil people that either captured you and we're here to save you, or there's evil people on the way and we're lucky we got here first because we'll defend you, but you got to let us come down to Earth and set up and get ready and we'll ambush them, right? That's if there is something like that going on, that's what would be going on. So why would they be hiding from anybody dressed up as an asteroid, kind of just cruising by to then turn left or right or whichever direction it is, and then to come flying over to Earth and go, hey, what's up? Yeah, well, we were just flying by this sector of I was just swimming under the ocean, and then I saw a hot dog, and I thought, well, it's a hot dog under the ocean, right? That's a dorkfish, right? From Bill Engvall. It was a very funny sketch, right? But that's we're having to believe that now, okay? That you have to start thinking like adults, people, and stop thinking like children, right? People are thinking like children, and they're going, oh yeah, there's the space rock that comes around every so often, and it's coming by Earth again, right? There's another one that's going to come by in 2032 if it's the same one, and that's the one that people were calling Tiamat or Apophis. And that one's supposed to be a big one that's supposed to come close to Earth too. These ones that are coming out here now, they're ones that they just do that, okay? They're going to fly by. It's going to be a great show. People are going to look up in the sky. They're going to see that. Back in the day, the children of the past would see that in the sky, and they would say, it's war. It's the god of war. Every time that appears, there's a big strife in the world, and everybody dies, and there's a big calamity. Well, if an asteroid or a meteor gets too close to a planet, yeah, it can cause damage. If you go and read, say, the Colburn Bible, and a few other scrolls from way back a long time ago, you will see that there is, in fact, people talking about a calamity where a destroyer of worlds, some societies call it a female character, and other societies call it a male character. The Vikings called it Sutur. So that's the devil, Sutur rising. Sutur came by, and Shiva in Destroyer of Worlds in Hindu religion. And if you read the scrolls or the books about that, it sounds just like an asteroid that came too close to Earth, and you can hear the trumpets blaring. And they put that in the Bible with a oh. If an asteroid comes too close to the Earth, you're going to hear the sound. In science knows about this. They talk about it. You can look it up, okay? So if the asteroid gets too close to Earth, you're going to hear sound. It's going to disrupt worldwide communications. It may even disrupt the gravitational pull of the Earth and cause a calamity. The last time one came by was like 70,000 years ago, and it almost destroyed every human being on the face of the Earth. This one is not expected to come by anywhere near that close to do that. In fact, this might even be the one that came by and it was too close, and now it's further out as it came back on its orbit, okay? That one may also be the one from Tiamat in 2032. Okay, so if it was going to hit the Earth, it would have already done it because it almost did and almost killed everybody. The whole flood of Noah's flood might have been because of that. The destruction around the Earth that people talk about in these ancient scrolls that happened. It's very possible that 77,000 years ago, when that global society ended, it was in fact a meteor that came too close to the Earth. They didn't see it coming. It flew around, and it came so close to the Earth that it traveled between the moon and the Earth itself, went by and disrupted the whole worldwide, possibly flipped the world over on its axis, destroyed a lot of stuff, and killed most of the population of the Earth. So here we are 77,000 years ago, and the same asteroid's coming back around again, but now it's going to be further out, okay? And everyone's like, what if it comes? It's going to hit the Earth. Okay, if it hits the Earth, then you're going to be dead in a half an instant anyway, and it's not going to matter. You're going to be out of your body all of a sudden going, what was that? Don't know. Oh, look, the Earth is totally blown up, okay? But it's not going to do that because the scientists know about it coming because they already told you about it, okay? They know it's coming. They know where it's going to be. They're telling you where in the sky you're going to see it. It's not aliens on board a cloaked ship. It's not aliens on board a ship where they're tying rocks to the outside to pretend that they're an asteroid. It's an asteroid, okay? It's not aliens. It's an asteroid. It's not first contact. You can believe that if you want, but that's not what's going to happen. Then you have so much disinformation. Let me get away from that now. You have so much misinformation and disinformation going on around the world that it is insane. You have this guy, I don't know what his name is. I'll have to look him up on my phone again. That was insane. I was reading that information on my phone. I'll have to look it up. I'm going to share this out in a couple more places here, okay? Literally, this guy, let me see if I can find it on my phone, and I'll read some of it to you. Oh, I know I can find it on my phone because it came from a buddy of mine. So I can look it up and I'll read you. So this guy was apparently had something to do with Ashtar Command. Let me see if it was on Messenger or if it was on Instagram. I think it was on, wait a minute. I think it was on Instagram, but let me take a look here. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so this guy, I don't know who this guy was until this information was sent from a buddy of mine. So I'm going to click on it and see if I can load it here, unless it's already been taken down. Here we go. We're loading it, and I'll read it to you, okay? So check this out, right? So this guy, I don't know what his name is here, but he was a former channeler for the Galactic Federation and Ashtar Command, exposes mind control, okay? So I haven't vetted this. So if this is a hoax and he was hacked, I apologize for talking about it on air. But stuff like this happens all the time, okay? And it has happened. So I'm going to talk about it, right? So this guy says that he says, "Hello, everyone. I'll be taking down this blog shortly, okay? And it's been up for days now, right? I don't know. I've seen it all day. I don't know when he posted it. There's no date on it, okay? But he's going to be taking it down shortly." Okay, and he says, "In the days ahead, as I do not want to see anyone else entrapped in this horrible U.S. government psyop." So it's not a psyop by some deep state. It's the United States government psyop, okay, program that had lured me into a trap some years ago and has refused release of its clenches on me and my life. The person who is typing this doesn't even sound like it's a person that speaks English as their first language. So it's either AI or it's somebody who doesn't speak English, and it has all the smacks of disinformation and misinformation from a foreign person. Somebody who doesn't speak English as their first language. You'll notice that as we go on. And it's not just because he has bad grammar, okay? At this time, I am leaving this blog up simply to get this message out to the remaining visitors. So he's claiming that all of this information was fake and it was a psyop by the government, but he's also talking about he's trying to get the information out to the aliens who are out here on the planet. I hope that they will help share this message far and wide and reach those who have formerly followed my work. I have been unable to delete the associated content as PSYOP agents have successfully hacked this blogger program. Okay, so he just claimed a minute ago in the sentence that he was going to leave this up for a couple of days, but it was going to be taken down or he would take it down. And now he says, I can't take this down, but he's the one typing this. I can't take this down because the PSYOP agents have successfully hacked this blogger program. The so-called channeled messages I received claiming to be from my soul family from the stars were in fact a simple radio wave by the U.S. government agents. Weird that he's calling them U.S. government agents, but we'll leave that one alone. Allegedly from the military-industrial complex. So he's accusatory, and then all of a sudden says allegedly. So he's saying first they're literally family, right, the radio waves from the U.S. government agents, allegedly from the military-industrial complex, working in concert with volunteers. I don't know how many those are, many of which are secret society members who help to propagate enormous numbers of hoaxed news stories of UFOs and related space news. So this is a big blanket. We're going to blanket everything. You're going to be surprised at how much is blanketed into this. Everything under the sun is underneath this blanket that's been going on in the world. Okay, so PSYOP programs have lured scientists and wait, hold on. Let me back up a little bit, make sure that we're here. Many volunteers who have propagated enormous numbers of hoaxed news stories of UFOs and related space news, building a backdrop for a PSYOP program. There's that word again, PSYOP. Third time he said it. PSYOP program to lure science and spiritual minded, so science too. So now we're trying to lure the entire science field and lure the science, and let me find where I was here. Hoax stories in the space, building a PSYOP program to lure science and spiritual-minded individuals such as myself into their web. This program, commonly referred to as an electronic harassment. So now he knows the name of the secret program. Electronic harassment is the name of the secret program, right? The PSYOP. Maybe shadow banning, that's one thing, but electronic harassment has destroyed my life completely and continues to devastate my life until this very day. So how long has this been happening to him? I wanted to ask. I need to know the answer to that, because it destroyed his life and it continues to destroy my life this very day. So how long was this going on? And was he trying to say that he's been duped from forever? Don't know the answer to that. Okay. But I'm certainly not alone, as the number of victims known as targets. Why would somebody speak like that? Okay. Victims known as targeted individuals, or TIs for short, grows exponentially each day. The electronic harassment operates are ruthless, showing little or no mercy, keeping me under total surveillance, tormenting me. This is what he's writing. Tormenting me in my mind, right? Tormenting me, torturing me, and attempting to reprogram my mind as I sleep. Turning my dreams into nightmares, effectively altering my behavior and free will choices as I continue through the mercifully final days of what was once my life. Okay, so is he dying now? Is he going to commit suicide? Mercifully final days of what was once my life. They have also in the past, and again very recently, scared my body. Scarred my body? I think he's trying to say scarred my body with their electromagnetic microwave neuro weapon technology in a successful effort to control and negate my relationship with a woman who is now gone from my life. So, okay, so he lost his wife, spouse, somebody or other, and now he's blaming it on the government psyop on his brain, right? So let's see. There is no recourse I have been able to uncover to shelter from this evil program. Their weaponry envelops us and follows us everywhere. Look out, it's everywhere. Sharing space with cell phone towers all throughout the U.S. and the entire globe. Well, then why would we have to say throughout the United States and the entire globe? I can understand why that was written that way. If it's that way, then it's just global. Everywhere around the world, you wouldn't have to say throughout the United States and the world, soaking our airwaves with a digital information of their hellish nightmare. This sounds like a 2-year-old wrote it, or it was written for 2-year-olds. It sounds like it was translated from Chinese into English, or an early AI bot, the way they used to speak. Okay, there exists endless documents throughout the internet concerning government mind control programs and technology used against the people. So he's saying that everything that has to do with aliens and everything and all of that is a secret government mind control program. And oh, by the way, you can look on the internet and you can see all kinds of information about secret mind control programs by the government. Again, that's one of those things saying that the spaceship is hidden and pretending to be a rock as it's flying by so that nobody will notice it. But where are the stories coming from? Right? Well, we're in the secret. No, because we're smart. Because somebody, flew up there and saw that it was a spaceship? It's kind of like flat Earth, and their whole theory rests on some guy that in the 1700s claimed that he was able to go and see the firmament, and that he and his entire crew were completely immune to it, but they were the only people in the history of the world from any time before that and any time after that was all of them happened to weirdly be on the same ship at the same time, and all of them were the only humans in all of history that were immune to the effects that make you turn right so you don't know you're turning right, so that you can't go to the firmament and see the firmament, but they claim they did. Weirdly, he claimed that he and they did, and no one corroborated his story in history, and I haven't been able to find that anywhere. So I hope you guys know something about that. You flat earthers out there, find me that corroboration, or go to the ends of the earth and show me pictures of over the edge, or film the firmament and show the coordinates of your boat that's there at the firmament, and show that it's not just some big ice cube that's floating somewhere in the north or in the south, because they're there, really big ice sheets and stuff floating around out there, that it's not one of those things, and film it. And since you can travel all the way around in the circle, you should be able to do that if you can find it. You should be able to show us all that stuff and then prove to us that it's there. Let me continue. Okay. So So their weaponry envelops us and follows us everywhere, sharing space in the cell phones, right? I just read that, US and all the entire globe, soaking the airwaves with digital information of their hellish nightmare. There exists endless documentation throughout the internet concerning government mind control programs and technology used against people. And it is advisable to familiarize yourself with this technology, as the spread of knowledge is our best way and only defense against this despicable evil that will not stop until every last member of our society is a prisoner of his or her own altered mind. So now you're going to be a prisoner of your own mind, right? They're trying to make us all crazy so that we're all locked into our own heads, and we don't know that we're even locked into our own heads, right? That is their sick and twisted plan, the construction of the dystopian nightmare forewarned by George Orwell. So now George Orwell's a prophet, and he was telling us about this that was going to happen. He might be a prophet if things do go the way that Orwell was talking about, but that's something that everybody was trying to do anyways. Throughout the pages of his prophetic 1984, my advice to all is to stay clear of all these stories of UFO extraterrestrial channeled messages and psychic mediums speaking to the dead, as these fictitious news accounts are dubious television programs, are part of a direct part of, let me reread that because that doesn't make any sense the way that's structured. My advice to all is to stay clear of all these stories of UFOs, extraterrestrials, channeled messages, and psychic mediums. So that covers just about everything, right? So anybody channeling anyone, saying that they know anything about spirituality, anybody like me, anybody who's a medium, don't listen to them. Anybody that talks about UFOs, don't listen to them. A psychic medium, don't talk to them. If they talk to the dead, don't talk to them. News accounts, don't talk to them. And dubious television programs that are a direct part of, or at the least stand as complement to, the hugely encompassing plan of desensitizing and familiarizing the public to synthetic telepathic communication. A simple but very effective feat of technology essential to mind control programs. So again, this is the devil. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was getting us to believe that he didn't exist. And you're supposed to believe that the devil doesn't exist, but somebody has a secret information of the secret devil that they're secretly telling you about, that everybody knows about. So here he knows about their secret program of the PSYOP program that's trying to control all of our minds, and he's telling you, and it's all over the internet. You just got to go and look for it. So the government is hiding in plain sight again, and they're not actually hiding. They're just allowing him to leave his side up when he's giving us the secret information, and they're not taking it down because, nobody's going to believe it anyway. So they're just going to leave it up. And then they're going to, let you know their secret plan. Just go and look it up. Or maybe this is part of the PSYOP to get everybody to not understand what's going on and to not trust anybody. Just saying, right? Okay, so let's continue here now, right? So let's see, I personally believe we come from somewhere in this universe, and well, that's pretty good. We come from somewhere in this universe, someplace. That's kind of another blanket, right? I believe that we come from somewhere in this universe, and we are also not alone. But this is a subject matter useless and dangerous to explore at this present time. So don't look into spirituality and trying to figure out God or where you came from or if you're even from here, because if you do, then it's the government that you're communicating with, and that it's all fake. Okay, so let's see here. The universe, that we are not alone, but this is a subject matter that's useless and dangerous to explore in the present time, as a vast majority of related news stories are completely hoaxed, devised solely for the use as backdrop for these mind control programs. I also feel that there may be a number of different programs. I also feel that there might be a number of different programs, right, through all earthly conceived by human hoaxers. Wait a minute. Through all earthly conceived by, I'm not sure what that means. I think it wasn't supposed to be let me read that again. I also feel there may be a number of differing programs, though all earthly conceived by human hoaxers, that list among their tools so-called channeled messages, and not all may be conceal mind control at the heart of their agenda. I can only speak for the program of which I became an unsuspecting participant. I humbly and sincerely apologize to anyone who is and everyone who was following my work and my so-called channel, the Galactic Federation and Ashtar Command. There is no denying my complicity, and I accept full responsibility for my actions. Soon I will be judged by our true higher powers in this universe, and may God have mercy on my soul for helping steer so many of you. Okay, well, let me finish it because there's only a few more lines. Steer so many of you. Wait, where was I at here? Universe, and may God have mercy on my soul for helping steer so many of you so far astray and into the clutches of this devilish, so it's the devil again, devilish, life-destroying mind control program. I am forever truly yours, and his name is here, and I'm not going to say his name because I'm not going to help him get more popular. Okay, so now, right? Okay, so is some of what he was saying true? Yeah, probably. Okay, because there was, and this isn't new. Okay, so if it's new to him and it's new to you guys out there, go back in time to like 2017 when different people that were in the Ancient Aliens field decided to leave because they were working for a certain draconian television agency that they felt had gone from trying to get information out to the world to helping cover it up. So there was a lot of people in that industry that left that industry, and there was a conceded concerted effort by a lot of people to discredit those people and say that those people were fake and greedy and all of this stuff. And those people started going against the grain and talking about that kind of stuff for a very long time. And some of them are still doing it, saying that they were taken over by evil people. And I think that the Ancient Aliens community has been. If you look at, I was part of that and was working with those people for a very long time. I created Ancient Aliens Worldwide back in 2012 on Facebook, and it's currently one of the largest groups on the planet that is trying to uncover information for you guys about ancient aliens. I still own it, and I still have people that operate it. Okay. And I think that the Ancient Aliens people from the History Channel are all about money. They're not going to give you anything new. They haven't given you anything new for at least 10 years. They just keep recutting and re-editing the same programs, and they give you stuff, and then they start a new program, and the new program is new interviews with the same old people telling the same story about what was going on before, using scenes from the earlier aired shows. Right. And I've talked to people who were on the shows and filmed, and they said they're still using my stuff. They're using my stuff and editing the interview in, because they'd sit down and interview people for hours and hours and hours, 12, 15 hours of interview. And then they would take all of those and they would splice them up and put them together and edit them into episodes. And so you had 5, 6 different people talking about one subject, and they were just chopped out of their interview. And then they would be, chopped up and put into an interview. Nothing wrong with that, because you're editing stuff to get information to people, but they're not giving you anything that is anything new in any way, and haven't for a very long time. They just keep going, what if that, what if this is no different than they've always done. It's about making money. It's about ratings. It's about power. It's about money. So yeah, did this guy just figure that out? It's very possible. Very possible that he didn't realize he was working for a draconian group of people. And that's why I didn't mention who he worked for or what his name was. But if you guys have seen that thing that I was talking about, you know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to get involved in that, because I'm not going to take a stance, because I don't know this person personally, never met them before. And I have no idea if they've gone off their rocker, if they have had a mental breakdown, or if they have had clarity of thought and went, wow, all this stuff that was happening to me, or all this stuff that they were controlling me and not allowing me to figure out what's going on. And this is, whatever, poop or whatever. And it just happened to turn out that way. So, I mean, it is very possible, right? And then now my Facebook page is freezing again. I don't know what's going on with it. And now it's trying to have me log in again. That's crazy. All right. So now it's back up. I don't know what's going on with that yet. So I'll move away from that topic for a second. So the algorithm, for whatever reason, doesn't get crazy. Because for whatever reason, it just kind of got a little crazy and I had to reset. So I apologize if you guys are popping in and out and going, what's going on here, man? So, okay. So here's the deal, right? So it is very possible that this guy just figured this stuff out. This is going on. This kind of stuff is going on. They're controlling things because they're trying to make money. They're not going to allow anybody to get the information out. They can't. You have to find it out for yourself. There's the way the rules work here, guys, is that you have free will. So you have the free will to look this stuff up. They can't take it all away from you. They try, okay? But they allow anyone to say whatever they want. That's why you got people saying right now that there's an alien spaceship in these things, that you have free will. They can't stop all that. They're trying to, and every time they try to control that, the information gets let out because that's the rules of the universe. It's the rules that the creator set down for managing these places. You have to learn that stuff. You got to figure it out. So do they have the right to control things and manipulate things? Absolutely. Just like you do. Okay. So evil people gain control of things. That's the first thing they do, is they entice you with money and then they take control of you. Okay. That's what they do. So if you're greedy and you're trying to be the richest person on the face of the earth, they're going to try and gain control of you at some point. They're going to give you everything that you want so that you sign everything over to them. It's what they do with the stock market around the world, guys. They get a company interested in going on the stock market. And then if you look, there's groups of people, conglomerates, the Orion Group, BlackRock, Vanguard, a couple of those are just three names. They all buy 10 to 12% of the stock. Combined, they have more than 51% of the stock. They have controlling interest. They take the company from you, or they tell you you're going to do what we tell you to do, or we're going to take the company from you. They have hedge funds that's legal for rich, powerful people to destroy your stock, but you can't do it to them. Okay? So you either do what they tell you to do, or they destroy your company and take it from you. Do you see? This has happened. There's people out there. Portnoy will tell you the story. They did it to him twice, and then they gave him back his company each time, and now he's worth billions of dollars because he played their game and allowed them to take the company from him, and they ran it into the dirt, and then they sold it back to him the first time for $1. Not a joke. You can ask him. Then he took it to $1 billion, and they came after him again, and they bought him out. He took the money. And then they ran it into the ground and gave it back to him. And then he took the company and made money with it again, right? I mean, that doesn't happen to everybody. He was just like, whatever, I'm getting rich. So he didn't care. And he talks about it openly, okay? So they do that stuff because they're trying to control the narrative. So it's possible that this guy just realized that. But if you're reading this out there, you got to take it with a grain of salt, because now he's just encompassing everything. I was just telling my wife earlier today that when I was talking to a guy, I'm not going to tell you his name because he has a podcast, but it was before he had his own podcast. And his first name's Dave. I probably shouldn't have said that. He might get mad at me. But I was talking to him about the girls in the Czech Republic who have been channeling an entity they call Oli, EBE Oli, extraterrestrial biological entity named Oli, who comes from the 11th dimension, I think, or the 12th dimension. I think it's the 11th dimension. They have been channeling him through a Ouija board, these sisters in the Czech Republic, who are friends of mine, since like 1995 or something, 97. They're going to get mad at me if I don't get the date right. So I apologize, girls, if you guys are listening into the show. I used to do segments on it. You can't find them anymore because Google deplatformed me, and Facebook also deplatformed me this year. Google did it 3 years ago. Facebook did it in May. So all of my shows are off of those platforms. But if you go back on MP3 broadcast, wherever you get your podcast, I still have over 500 episodes of the 1,000 episodes I've done in the last 10 years on that platform. So it's out there in the ether. You guys can listen to me talking about Oli. They're translating the stuff into English and giving it to me, and then I was going on the air and doing segments about it on my show. So you can hear those conversations, or you can get a hold of the Podresgas. It's Ilana and Ivana Podreska. They have their own YouTube channel and Facebook channel, and they're in the Czech Republic. and they're still doing it. I just got information from Ilana or Ivana. One of them is Ilana, I think. One of them just said hi to me the other day, right? I just haven't talked to them in a while because I've been busy with other things. So when I was talking to this guy about them, he said the same thing. I don't believe that they're actually channeling anybody. They're talking, and it's the CIA giving them this information. I know that it's not, because there was certain information that was given to me by Oli that couldn't have known that information if it was somebody in the CIA or the deep state of the United States of America. Okay, and that information was coded and they didn't know what it meant. They just said, this is what Oli said that you need to have. And I said, what was it? And they gave me an email with the message that Oli had came through in one of their sessions and said these things specifically to give me this information. Okay, so I know that that's not the deep state. Oh, but if you get real paranoid and you say, yeah, but if they control everything, they're controlling you and your mind and the mind psyops and all of that stuff. And so therefore, hold on, I apologize. Yeah. So for whatever reason, the live chat's not even chatting in here, and I'm not quite sure why that's happening. The chat's not even coming up in here, so now I'm typing in it just so that I see something up in the chat over there. So if you're out there, post in the chat and say hello to me so that I know you're here, because I'm just seeing numbers and I'm not seeing the right numbers either. And I'm also not live on my live on YouTube. It says that I'm live, but I'm not live. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Again, somehow that got off the live channel. Now it's, I think, on the live channel again. I don't know what's going on. Every time it resets it does something weird and it doesn't stay live. So if you're on there live somewhere, say hello to me. If you're on Instagram, I apologize to you because I don't have the chat on Instagram. But I can go into the chat over here and post something in the studio and say hello, but that'll just come into YouTube, or it'll go to YouTube, but it won't go to Facebook because I'm on the thing there on Facebook. Susan, welcome. So thank you for saying hi to me there. So that because for whatever reason, the last couple of weeks I've been getting like zero numbers on, and finding out that I've had like 100 people that are in the audience, and sometimes there's like 5-6 people talking to me, and when I look on the screen, it's telling me I have one person here. It's been doing that for a couple of weeks. My wife noticed it. Other people noticed it, that the numbers were way off because they were in the audience talking to 4 and 5 people going, how is it that it says she has one person live? And I literally am speaking to 5 people live. So thank you for saying hello. Okay, so is it possible that there is some of that information going on where the government has psychics and they're trying to disrupt things? Absolutely, because those programs really do exist. And so the governments are doing that kind of stuff, trying to create doubt and problems. Absolutely right. But if you listen to what this guy says and a few other guys that have said it, it's like there's nobody in the entire world that is in any way getting any information from anywhere. So if you're a psychic medium, that's the CIA. If you're channeling, that's the CIA. If it's specifically the U.S. government. Right? So the U.S. government is more powerful than all governments. And if they had that ability, why would they not own all the other governments? Right? Because if they had the ability to literally usurp all non-electronic communications, but all psychic communications worldwide, why wouldn't they already be going, you're my puppet, we're going to put our people in charge in your country? Right? And so then some people, if you get really paranoid, people are going to go, that's exactly what's going on right now. Every government's controlled. So now you're going to say that the U.S. government is in control of the whole world. Well, you might want to ask the people in the government of Australia, or the people in the government of Germany, or the people in the government of France, or the people in the government of whatever country, because they're going to go, no, if anybody was in charge of the whole world, it'd be our people. So you can get real paranoid here. And you could say that there is no, because they're telling you now that the Anunnaki, which is not even a real civilization, the Anunnaki created all religions on the earth. So now all religions and all spiritual ways of thought and philosophical ways of thought were created by an alien race who came here, who the greatest trick they ever pulled was to get you to believe they didn't exist. I wonder where the stories came from then. This is the story of the Black Pearl from Pirates of the Caribbean, okay? Jack Sparrow, who used to be the captain, got mutinied against and was not the captain of the Black Pearl, and he was on his way trying to find the Black Pearl because he wanted to get his ship back and get revenge on Captain Barbossa. He happens to be locked up in a prison cell on Tortuga Island, and they show up there because of the medallion that Elizabeth Swann has. And when they're attacking the city, the other prisoners in the other cage next to him are saying, "It's the Black Pearl." They're looking out the window. And he jumps up and looks out his window and sees that it is. And they're like, they've been raiding and pillaging up and down the Spanish Main, and they're killing everybody and taking and leaving no prisoners. And Jack Sparrow says, "I wonder where all the stories are coming from then." And they all stopped and looked at him, and they didn't have an answer. So if they're raiding and pillaging and they're murdering and they're killing everyone, then where are the stories coming from? Okay, so the same thing here is true, right? Is it possible that governments have, deep state psyop programs to where they're trying to disrupt people? Yes. Is it more likely that they have a psyop program where they're trying to scare everybody into not believing anything they hear? Yeah, okay, that's a little bit more advanced and a little bit more along the lines. This guy and the things that he said, he's blanketing everything. Don't listen to anybody who's a psychic and has psychic abilities. Don't listen to anybody who channels somebody. Don't listen to anybody who thinks that they know what's going on in the universe. Don't listen to religions. Don't listen. So if you listen to the noise on the internet, it says the evil bad guy aliens who created the human race, who have been hiding from us, and they're never here, and you don't know that they've been here because the greatest trick they ever pulled was to get you to believe they didn't exist, yet we know the stories and we're talking about them. Just like the greatest trick the devil ever got pulled was to get you to believe he didn't exist, yet we're talking about the devil and his greatest trick to get us to believe that he didn't exist, which means we know he exists. Do you see what's going on here? So it doesn't make sense. So the greatest, these aliens who created us, our father aliens who created us, who the Atlanteans were supposed to be descendants of, yet the human genome that they created bred their traits out of the people that were supposedly related to them who were stuck on Earth here. Those people have lost all the traits, and their skull has gotten smaller and their brain has gotten smaller, and they no longer have the traits of the genetic code that supposedly is the master race genetic code that was superior to humans. And if that were the case, then more humans would have the elongated skull, because every time they bred with somebody who was human, their DNA would have been the upgrade. Yet that didn't happen. It went the other way around. So this alien race who created us, okay, so they have superior DNA and they blended their DNA with monkeys to make the humans. That human that they made, which is half monkey and just a little bit of their DNA to make them stupid so that they'll be able to be under mind control by them, bred their traits out. So they created a master race that was stronger traits in DNA than themselves. That's a really smart a bunch of people. So I say that didn't happen. Okay. And I say it all the time. So now you have this guy who's saying, I just woke up and realized I was being controlled by the deep state in the United States military industrial complex. Oh, and by the way, around the entire world too. And everything you've ever heard from anybody who claims they're a psychic, they're talking to the CIA. Anyone who's channeling something or talking to the CIA. So you have the deep state of the United States of America must have this really big underground stadium with a bunch of people that are psychics, weirdly, the better psychics in the entire world than any other psychic out there in the whole planet. They must somehow look for us and capture us and get us down there so that then we can catch all the psychic abilities as they're trying to go out of the planet. Or do they have machines out there that capture that signal and reroute the signal into somebody's head sitting in a dungeon someplace with a little shirt on that says CIA? And those people listen into what I'm trying to reach to God, and then they go, okay, turn off that and we'll send them this message back. And then they're stronger psychics than everybody on the face of the earth. And they're doing all of that to disrupt everybody so nobody believes that there's anything going on. And their secret is there's a universe out there that was created by a God, and that you have free will and that you're free and that you can get upgrades by being spiritual. And eventually you can override the evil people down on earth, and you can become knowledgeable about what's going on, and you can talk to God, and you can ascend and get off this rock and not be stuck here. And that's the best plan they can come up with, to convince the whole world that there's nothing going on, nothing to see here, and keep you distracted from doing that. Keep you distracted from finding spirituality and reading scrolls. But wait, all books are also a lie. And the controllers, the Anunnaki, created all books, all religion, all songs, all movies, everything. This political, they've done it all and created it all. And it's all created to keep you trapped here, chasing yourself. And there's nothing that you could ever imagine that wasn't already programmed into your head. And I just found out about it. This is what the guy's saying. And I just found out about it, and I'm telling you guys about it. And this website's going to get taken down as soon as they find out about it. And it's been up at least all day today. And it's probably been up since before that, because there's no date on it. And it'll probably be up for weirdly a long time. So the people who are scared to death of that psyop getting uncovered are leaving this up on a page that they control, right? And I'm talking on the airwaves right now, which they control, and I'm telling you about it, and they don't seem to care about it. Do you see? And we're going to have first contact from an alien spaceship that's pretending to be an asteroid, because they don't want anybody to know about it. But we know about it. And how did we find out about that? Well, it's because it's obvious, because it changed directions. You mean it flew from over there to over here? No, Momoa went way over there and then turned around and came back. Everyone said it did that, but no, there is no proof of that happening. Well, that's because they lied about it. Oh, okay, so if they lied about it, then you have the proof. Well, no, because I saw it. Well, then where is it now? Well, they deleted that. Do you see how that works? That's the same story as the earth is flat, because some guy in the 1700s claimed that him and his entire crew on board his ship were the only people in the history of the earth from all of time since human had been on it up until now, that weirdly all 65 of them that were on board that ship were immune to the firmament's tricks, and they were able to sail to it and find it. But he's the only one who told the story, because you see, he was on an expedition to prove the earth was actually flat. So he went out to prove the world was flat, came back and said, we found this big ice wall, and it goes all the way around the world, because we sailed for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of miles. So I heard somebody once say that he went 70,000 miles this way and came back 70,000 miles. Weird, because it took him a month to go from the United States to Europe across the ocean, and they had to stop and get food in different places. Okay, so how did they load up enough food to keep even 60 or 30 men alive to sail 70,000 miles without going inland and coming back, and going inland and coming back to get resupplied with food and water? Well, maybe they were fishing. Okay, so how did they get the salt out of the water to drink it? They were making wine out of what? All the cheese and all the stuff. So none of that was told. They didn't say that they had to stop and get food anywhere, but they sailed for a long, long time and couldn't find the end of it, and then they came home. So there's an ice wall out there, and the world is surrounded by ice, because the maps from old times show that. And the maps from old times are topography, and they're designed, when they drew the maps, to go over a globe. So when you take these maps that makes it look like the world is round, and you see them and they're sitting flat, and you're looking down on them, which is what all of the flat earthers are based on, because it's a square map that you look down on, and it looks like the earth is round like this, okay? And you're looking down on it, and they go, these are the ancient maps from before. I don't know why my wife's trying to call me right now, but she's trying to call me. So let me answer that. Nope, she may have realized that I'm live. I don't know what's going on there. So anyways, maybe I'm not live, and I think I'm live, and she doesn't know that I'm live. I'll find out. I'm going to type to her. Okay, so maybe things are going astray, and she's trying to tell me, dude, you're talking, and it's all crazy. So the map that you look at, that they're basing all of this on, these are the ancient maps that we found that show that the earth is actually flat, and there's this round. Those maps were drawn to be put over the top of a globe of the earth and folded down over the top of the globe of the earth. And when you do that, all of a sudden it becomes a globe, and it's round and everything fits. So when you flatten things out that are down here at the bottom that pinch below Australia, where we're here, Australia gets smaller. And then Antarctica, which is fanned out and looks like it's half of the world, when you fold it down to the globe the way it's supposed to be, all of a sudden there's pieces that they had drawn in the flat part that need to be cut out so that it fits. And they've shown that in history to where it fits over a globe. So the ones that they're saying, look, here's landmass all the way around, it's not actually all the way around. When you take it and put it over a globe, the standard globe size, all of a sudden, when it fits onto the globe, all of that condenses. Okay. They even do that with the world when they show you a map like Google Maps when you look at the Earth. And sometimes people show you that and they go, this is the map the way it looks now. And here's how it looks if it actually was fitting on the planet. And all of a sudden, the United States shrinks. Greenland shrinks. Canada shrinks in size because it's flat like this. And it's actually, there's spaces that are supposed to be missing as it goes to a globe. Okay. But they're showing you that they don't leave that, because they used to show that to where there was a cutout like this and there was nothing. And people didn't understand what was happening with that cutout and why were there gaps. And they thought that's so the land went like this and it had fingers, and they didn't understand what was going on because they didn't understand topography. They didn't understand the whole idea of cartography, and understand that that's because it goes to this when you put it on a globe. Okay. So they stopped doing that and they started doing the filling in there. And so now people think that the landmass is really huge, and they don't understand that it was designed to go onto a globe, these old maps. And that's what they would do, is they'd put it onto a globe. And the people who were looking at it knew that that round part on the end actually tapered down to a small thing. And it wasn't anything like everybody thought. And you can see that where they look at these maps and they go, this is a map from the 15th century. And we know that this map came from the year 800. And the actual people and the historians will actually take it and put it over a globe and show you it's supposed to be on a globe, and it was drawn so that it's on a globe. And when you put it on a globe, a round ball, all of a sudden it fits perfectly. Oh, that's a lie. You're just trying to say that because the Earth's actually flat. And that's what they do. Do you see how these stories don't add up? When you look at things from the perspective of a non-child, okay? When you look at things from the perspective of an adult, you go, that story just does not add up and this is what's happening over here, right? So, sorry. Thank you. Brooke is thank you, Susan. She says you are live. So thank you, right? Brooke said she forgot. Thank you for tagging stuff, baby. Tagging people. So you have this guy who probably just figured out, unfortunately for him, that there is a deep state and that they are controlling things, and that they are that he was probably working for a network that had draconian masters who were trying to keep him from actually getting anything out to the world that's going to help the world, and he's upset about it. But then he writes this, or the whole thing was written by AI and he was hacked, right? We might find out in a couple of days that this guy comes out and goes, I don't know what happened, man. I got hacked, because the verbiage, the way it was written, and the words, you see me when I was reading it to you, that the words don't fit as somebody who speaks English as their first language. The words that come up seem to be either translated from a foreign language, which seems to be Chinese, to English. Or AI wrote it, it's not coming across right. Or the person who wrote it, this doesn't speak English as their first language at all. And I don't know this guy, so I don't know if maybe he doesn't speak English and that was like his third or fourth language, because the grammar doesn't fit right. And there are certain words that are being used in there. So maybe there's a code that I haven't gone in and researched. There's certain words, which I'm going to look at later. There's certain words in there that are blanketing things. Blaming the United States government like they're the ones that are behind the whole world. Not saying that there's certain families that own the planet or think they own the planet. It's the U.S. military industrial complex using like an AI collective to get certain verbiage, and then saying that everybody who's channeling is channeling the deep state. Everybody who's a psychic who's talking to dead people are channeling the deep state, and anything that they're televising on television is all fake. Well, it's very possible that everything that's being televised on television by legacy media is fake. It's very possible. Okay. So you do have to take all of that with a grain of salt. But this is what I say to you guys out there. You have free will. Okay. You've had free will forever. You have free will. You should take everything with a grain of salt and not believe anything on face value, and look things up and find people that you trust and that you vibe with, and then listen to them. Because you have things like, there was just a video that I was talking to friends of mine with, and they were saying one guy who normally is pretty level-headed claimed that somebody who filmed that gave him the video, but the video was tagged with an Instagram account, and people in there were claiming hideous things that were going on this by the people in a certain area. And I'm not going to get into that religion of politics and war right now. But they were talking about this, and they were like, well, you can look it up. And I looked it up, and the company who made it is a propaganda company. The site is a propaganda site. And I'm like, you guys need to look at who made this video. It's a propaganda site. So the video was supposed to be a security camera footage that they acquired, and they're trying to expose things that people were doing to other people. And yet the people who are putting out this information, when you look at their site, they're completely 100% only talking from one perspective, and they're making everybody else that is opposed to their point of view look like evil devils. Okay, so there's an agenda there. They're not somebody who's reporting honest things going on. They have an agenda, right? And so I said, look, you guys need to pay attention to whoever you're listening to as a news agency when it comes to world news and news agencies, because in every country they have an agenda. Okay. And you can see it. If you're awake enough, you realize that everybody's lying to you, and you'll find one that seems to be a little bit more down the middle. Those usually get taken over pretty quickly, or allowed to stay within a certain parameter of being not, huge. But they have to allow some of that stuff, because those are the rules here. They can't take it all down and control everybody like everybody's claiming that they're doing, but they want everybody to think that. Because if everybody thinks that, they can control your mind. So if some of the things that this guy's saying is true, if you believe everything that is being told to you by this guy, the fear of that is going to confuse you enough to where you're going to start telling everybody the same thing. And then guess what's going to happen? No one's going to listen to anybody that's a psychic in any way. No one's going to listen to anybody that is channeling in any way, because for the same reason that you have in some of the Bibles where they say false prophet, beware of false prophets. And then they even said, and you can look this up, Jesus, who literally, not figuratively, not made up, literally fulfilled over 3,000 prophecies to be standing before them. And they called him a false prophet. Okay? Because they couldn't control him. You can look that up. So that was just one example of what they did. This is all happens all over the world. So literally, the person who more people on this earth believe was the Savior who came here was literally killed, because the very people that he was talking to, who were his own people and his own religion, didn't like that he was saying, you don't need to listen to those guys. So they said, nope, he needs to go. And they brought charges up against him, and they killed him on an X, because it wasn't a cross, by the way. It wasn't a T. You can look that up in history. And then they rewrote things to change that history. Okay. And that I got kicked off TikTok for saying that. And it's actual fact. You can look it up in history. Okay. You can look these things up. I tell people that all the time. People changed the Bible. Let's just say the Christian Bible. Let's just go down that road. They changed the Christian Bible. And there's proof of that out there. Okay. People go, that's just not true. Yes, it is. The Ethiopians have a Bible that is not the same Bible, and theirs hasn't been edited, and they've kept it that way. Then you have literally a religion that the Roman Catholic religion in the 1500s or the 1200s went out with their soldiers to the south of France and tried to murder everybody there. Ask the French in the south of France. Tried to murder everybody to shut them up because Mary supposedly showed up there and started the religion the way that Jesus wanted it taught, and it became very popular, and they started talking out about the religion in Rome, saying it was corrupted, so the Romans marched on them and murdered them all, but the information got out. Dan Brown wrote a book about it that became a movie, okay? So now my screen is doing the same thing again, and I have to refresh it. So I better watch out for the algorithms, because there's a problem with all of my pages again, except for my StreamYard. So I'm assuming I'm still online. I apologize if Leah Jarvis, welcome. Well, Leah Jarvis, welcome. Wasn't looking at the chat in YouTube because everything keeps tripping on me here, and I keep getting bumped off computer for some reason. So welcome over there on YouTube. Okay, so now I don't even know where I was. I apologize for that. So, okay, talking about what was going on in the Bible. So, and now everything is closing down again. I don't know what's going on, but everything is tripping, and my computer is they're trying to boot me off air, I think. So I'm just going to stay away from that for a minute and let things go, right? Oh, Mama Leah, welcome. Leah, okay. So Leah says, I'm Mama Leah. Welcome. Yeah, I'm not on TikTok because I got booted off, but I can go live on TikTok. I'm probably going to go tonight or tomorrow, Leah. So let Kale know that I can go back live. I just haven't had time to do it. And I've talked to Brooke today, so we might be live today or tomorrow. I'll check with you guys to make sure I'm not like bumping on you guys, right? We'll make sure that I don't go live when Kale's live. So I'll be, but I'm going to either go tonight or tomorrow or one of the days coming up this week. I couldn't go live here from this studio in StreamYard on TikTok. And then I got shadow banned in a crazy way and had to relog into Google and everything else. And now I'm having issues with connection to Facebook and YouTube, weirdly. And then when I refresh the screen, it does fine. The StreamYard's still on board. So I'll be back on. I was going to go live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, but I went Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and I lost Instagram connection. So I think I'm not live there anymore, but it says I am. So I might still be live on Instagram. But the TikTok I'm going to have to do separate because I can't do it from this studio that I'm in. But I will be back live on there to talk about this stuff as well. Okay, so let me continue. So there was literally, now I have to go back. So I apologize, so I can see what's going on. Thank you, Susan. Susan over at Facebook told me you're still live. It's okay. I don't know what it is. It's the algorithm. I'm not quite sure, but it's only been happening in the last couple of weeks. So I'll have to reflect that negative energy, and protect things. Okay, so they changed things, and literally the Roman Catholic Church went after these people and killed them. And that's in history. That's not made up. That's history, and it was told in history. And the people in the south of France talk about that. So you also have the Eastern Orthodox Church, who showed up at the Council of Nicaea in the year, when was that, 930 or somewhere around there, when Constantine changed the First and Second Council of Nicaea, when they changed the Bible. The Eastern Orthodox Church didn't like what they were editing out, so they split away from the Christian Romanized Church at that time. You can look that up in history. People are talking about it now on all over the platforms. You can look that up in history. They didn't. Well, thank you for being here as long as you can be here. So thank you, because I don't know how many people are on YouTube, but Leah, thanks for popping into YouTube channel there and saying hello. If you have to leave, you got to leave. I'll probably see you when Kale's live next time, or when I'm live next time on TikTok. So they changed things. The Eastern Orthodox Church split away from the Roman Catholic Church, and to this day they have their Bible has more books in it. So you have these people, Ethiopians and the Eastern Orthodox Church, who said they're editing things and they're not right, and they're still alive now to say these things, and that they're trying to say we're still more like the way Jesus wanted to be. We don't know until we compare them all to find out who truly is. But we do know that what they're saying Jesus was teaching is what I'm teaching and people like me are teaching, that you are supposed to look within yourself and find what's going on in the universe within yourself and unlock these things within yourself. Okay. And that is what was being taught. And if that was what was being edited out, why is it that the PSYOPs are allowing this information to still be out there to you? Right. Oh, well, because the whole thing was a control mechanism from the get-go. So let's get real paranoid. And there is nothing happening in this world that's not being controlled by the evil people. And if that's the case, why are they not more in control? And then you can get really paranoid and say that they're in control of everything you do, and you can freak yourself out. And because that's what they want you to do. So that's the misinformation and the disinformation that they're throwing at you online. They're speeding up because so many of us are waking up. Okay. Because there's so many of us that are waking up, the knowledge that is out there is detrimental to them, because people are starting to look at things from a perspective of what is going on, right? So now I have to reload the site because for some reason I'm looking like I'm down again, but I can't tell if I'm frozen or if I'm up or if I'm off of StreamYard. Not quite sure what's happening, but it looks like I might be. So I'm going to have to see if I'm live. So I'm going to have to go live separately on my phone here and see if I'm live on my phone to find out if I'm still live. I apologize for you guys because everything's frozen over here, so I can't see if I'm still up even on Facebook. So I'm going to go over here and take a look at my stream and see if I'm still up on Facebook, because it looks like I am. Weirdly. Yeah, you can still hear. Yeah, you can still hear me. So yeah, I can see that I'm still live, but I'm frozen on my computer everywhere right now. But it looks like I'm still up. I don't know what's going on there or why that's doing that, but it is. Yeah, even the studio. I'm going to try and reload the studio. If I bump off, I'll probably have to jump on my phone to see if I can get back on here, because even the studio thing is. Live here, back in the studio. Now I'm back in the studio. Don't know what happened, but it looks like I'm back in the studio live. So I'll see if I pop back in over here on the phone, because that's weird. Not quite sure what's happening there, but the computer is weirdly going offline and not coming back online. So yeah, there was me going down live there and then coming back. So hopefully you guys can still hear me, right? Yes. Brooks says, still can hear you. That's good. I'll be back in a second. There I am. Okay. So yeah, I don't know what happened, but it bumped me off. So it looks like I'm not going to be able to see the chats except for on my phone, because my phone is still live. So I'm going to leave the phone sitting here as another monitor now. For some reason, the latency on the computer is freaking out. And it might be because I've moved the stuff over to a monitor. I'm not quite sure. Okay. Yeah, not sure what's going on, but at least I'm still live in the studio over here. So I'll have to watch the chat for Facebook over here, because I can't get that to come back up over here at all. Maybe I can close the window and then reopen it. Let me do that and try that and see if I can get that to reboot that way on Facebook, because for whatever reason, that thing was going down, man. Yeah, and it's just freezing now. So I'm not sure what's going on over there. I opened up the new window and then the computer is freezing. So I'm going to have to reset the computer and probably end the live, because now it's just frozen over here, and that's just the way it is. So let me see if I can open it back up over here. See if I can get it going again, because it's just all, for some reason, just frozen now, and it looks like I might end up popping off of here. So let me see if I can go on StreamYard on my phone. I don't think I have the app on here anymore, so I'm going to try and get everything to reopen over here, and see if I can do that. We'll see what happens here, because right now it seems like it's frozen, but it might come back. I'm not sure what's going on. We'll see if it does or not. So it looks like I'm still live. So as long as I'm still live, I'll just keep talking and see what happens. And there we go. Now it just popped back up over on here, and I can see what's going on. And now it's trying to freak out, and everything went black again over here. So I don't know what's going on with my computer, but the internet's dropping for whatever reason and coming back up. So I don't know what it is, but I'm still live. So I'll just keep talking. Okay. So yeah, it keeps trying to drop, and I don't know why it's doing that, but it is. It's literally my screen's going black and then it's coming back up. So maybe it's the algorithms. So So yeah, thank you, Susan, for being here. I apologize for the technical difficulties. Not quite sure what's happening to my computer. Maybe I need a new computer, or maybe I need to reset the Wi-Fi here at the house. Not quite sure what's going on, but it looks like I stayed up the whole time. So thank you for being here. But so the message, you need to pay attention to what's going on, because they're trying to tell you that everything now is a lie. And they're trying to tell you that this fictitious race of beings, the Anunnaki, created all religion. And now they're saying that the spirituality and that all the Bibles, the spirituality and all psychic abilities are now being intercepted and controlled by the deep state, and that none of it is true. And that's because there's so many people that are waking up that are trying to get everybody to question everything. Chandra, welcome. So it looks like when I go back a lot, when it pops back up, it looks like more of you guys tune in. That's hilarious right there. So, yeah, see, yeah, Leah said 2 here at the moment, right? So yeah, it just says that there's 2 there, but there's more people on Facebook, and it's not showing me that. And in my StreamYard is saying there's only 2 people on there, and I know that there's at least 4 people on Facebook and 2 people on YouTube, and what's happening is that none of that's being filtered over here. And weirdly into my StreamYard. So something's being done. So it's very possible that there's shadow banning going on. It's very possible that there is some of the psyop that this guy's talking about, but that's been happening the whole time, guys. You guys got to realize that they're literally trying to stifle people from talking, and you just have to put up barriers and not allow them to do it. They've lost, they're losing, and they're desperate. So they're trying to do whatever they can to control people, to get you guys all back under control. So think for yourself. Stop watching all their legacy channels. Don't watch legacy news media. Don't watch legacy channels that are being run by these corporations. Go to other places. That's why the United States was so desperate to get a hold of TikTok, because they were claiming that TikTok was the Chinese Communist Party has all of this control over all this information that they're spying on, but yet they weren't doing anything different than Google and Facebook or Meta is doing in giving them information. The difference was the Chinese Communist Party wasn't giving the deep state of the United States or the European deep state the information. That's what was going on. Now that they have control of that, all of a sudden TikTok's okay, right? But they only have the controlling interest in it. So now so the Chinese Communist Party is sharing TikTok with the American government. That means they're sharing the information that they're gathering, guys. That doesn't mean they might be sharing some of the profits, but they're cut in on their action is what happened there. So the Chinese Communist Party is still getting the same information. It's just the government of the United States is also getting the information. So they didn't cut the Chinese Communist Party out of getting information to save everybody from the evil empire that was going to use all that information to spy on everybody in the United States. They just got the information themselves too. They just leveraged that to take control of that information that they didn't have control of, because the biggest market for marketing was not under the control of the deep state, or whatever you want to call the families who believe they own this planet, of Europe. So they weren't able to sell all your information to all the same people that Google and Meta are selling your information to, selling you as me and all of us as a product. Okay. So that's the truth of it. So when the United States government brokered a deal with the Chinese to sell part of the company to an American company, that just got cut in on the action and all the information. And now they're going to take all that information and sell it to the people that they want to make money off of, to sell everybody, all the 150 or 130 million Americans that are on TikTok, myself included, and use that information to target them for commercials. But they get paid and they have the information for their people. That's the only difference. So some of what that guy was saying on his desperate post, whether it was real or not, is true. But what they're trying to do is blanket everything. There is nothing that's real. All of it is controlled by your controllers. This is the stuff that they were selling you to tell you that you were under control. If you look at the non-incident from Roswell, New Mexico in 1947, where that woman didn't work for the same deep state that everybody's claiming is controlling everything, that she wasn't getting questions from the other room, which was CIA and military intelligence and the deep state that everybody's warning about now, that was in control of everything. That didn't happen, supposedly, but that's what's happening.
Okay, and she didn't communicate with an alien who was working a gray alien like a drone from somewhere else, and they weren't exchanging information. So none of that happened. But this great psyop that all of the same things are what people are warning you about. Well, the CIA are the ones that's in control of all that. But the one where someone is saying the CIA was in control of that, they're going, that's not real. That didn't happen. But yet it's still out there. And they're allowing it to be out there. And yet you have people that are coming out and saying that's the deep state and they're in control of everything. And that's the same narrative that everybody's saying. Well, then it's got to be true. Or they're all under that control of the draconian measures. The best way that you out there in the world can decide that is to decide it for yourself, to stop believing anything that those people say anyway. Stop looking in the physical for your answers. You're not going to get a physical spaceship coming down from Mars to talk to the humans down here. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen the next day. You're going to start seeing a meteor, an asteroid that's going to fly by, and it's going to, so it'll be staying an asteroid, because a meteor is only when it enters the Earth's atmosphere, then it becomes a meteorite and crashes. You're going to have an asteroid that's going to fly by out there, and you're going to be able to see a trail in the sky, and people are going to be posting it. And then first thing that's going to happen is they're going to say there's an alien spaceship in that, and everybody needs to kill themselves so they can go on hijack or jump out and put your thumb out as your spirit body. Weird, they all of a sudden then believe that you have a spirit, you have an everlasting soul, and that you're not from Earth, but your friends are on the back of that thing over there. So you need to go kill yourself. It happened 40 years ago, 50 years ago, whenever that number is, was in the 1980s when Hale-Bopp came by, Halley's Comet. Okay, when that came by, people did the same thing. And they told everybody, but if you're too young around the world and you don't know about it, this is all brand new to you. And you're like, it's UFOs and it's first contact and they're going to land. No, first contact's next year or the year after that. That's not when it is. Okay, first contact already happened a long time ago. 86% of the population of this earth is not from here. Physically, you are. Physically, you were born into physical bodies. But the soul that's in here, yeah, that's right, because we're prisoners. No, you're not. You're prisoners of your own device. You're prisoners here because you chose to be. You're in a college. This was created to be this way. It's not being kept by some master control program or some group of people that are aliens in the 3D that are out there with devices. It's just not. It's not. You can believe that if you want, but it's not. Okay? And you know how you can prove that to yourself? You can ignore all of this stuff and you can start becoming spiritual. You don't have to go to church unless that's what you want to do, because the churches are corrupted. You've heard that. Everything's been corrupted in some way to make sure that you don't look into yourself. All of the books in every religion that told you to look within yourself have been edited out. We know that because we have books still existing that people hid that didn't allow them to edit that stuff out. So when you look at what was the one thing that they were editing, it wasn't that, well, some of it was Jesus was, they wanted to make him a god, weirdly. So it was everything that Jesus was, a physical man, was taken away so that they could paint him as a god. They eradicated his wife and his children, just took them right out of the whole storyline and changed all of that. So you don't have anything of that. Also, most importantly, they took out what his message was. His message was, look within yourself, learn to open your third eye, and learn to become self-sufficient. And you don't have to go in the physical for your information. And every prophet, no matter their species, no matter their governance, no matter their race of people around the world throughout all of time, have told you the same story. Not, wait here, I'm coming back to get you. Not, there's going to be a rapture. Not, there's going to be a spaceship that's going to show up. None of that. It was the story that was being told to you. The story that they were all telling you is, look within yourself. Everything that you need, everything that you want, everything that is what it is that is going to get you out of here is within yourself. Look within yourself and become a good person and start to meditate. You don't even have to meditate. Pray. You don't even have to do that. Just be a good person and start reading and educating yourself on what's going on. You will get smarter. You will, because of that, start seeing things differently. And because of that, you will then start to realize when people are lying to you and they're saying things like, don't look here, these are not the droids you're looking for. You do not need to see their identification. They can go about their business, move along. When they start talking to you like that, you realize that they're talking to you like that. You don't just stand there and repeat what they say and go into action. Like Ray in the movie where she said, loose these restraints, loosen these restraints. And the first time she said it, the guy said, I'm going to tighten these restraints, you scum. And then she waited a second and then she said it again, loosen these restraints. And he said, I'm going to loosen those restraints. And she sat there and was astonished. And he came over and he loosened the restraints. And as she was walking off, she said, and leave your weapon. And he said, and I'm going to leave my weapon. Because he was simple-minded, she was able to Jedi mind trick him, gaslight him, and to convince him to do something that he wouldn't have ordinarily done. Okay. That's what they're trying to do to all of you out there. And they've been trying to do that to you. And they're taking away the knowledge of how you can stop them from doing that. Okay. They're controlling as much as they can control when they can control it. And they're doing things like they're doing here. Like all of a sudden my latency got all crazy. I don't know why, but I did. And now, I'm back and it's okay. Why? Because I moved into spirituality and moved away from talking about the deep state. Do you see how that worked? If I go back to it, the same thing's going to start happening. So the algorithm, the AI bots that are now watching over what's going on, when you say too many things about certain things, you get kicked off TikTok, your signal gets booted. But if you stay away from that and you move into the field that they can't edit, then they have to leave you on here. So why? Because they don't care about spirituality, right? Because they're telling you it doesn't exist. They're telling you that there is no spirituality because it all has been based on something that the Anunnaki or alien invaders are the ones who created. So none of it's true anyway. It was all just made up. There is no definitive proof, even though there is. And I've posted about it, okay? There's places where you can look up in history that non-Jewish people wrote about in Roman history. People who didn't know who Jesus was and didn't have a fish in the tank, didn't have whatever you want to call it, a dog in the hunt. They were Romans who witnessed all of the happenstance at that time and wrote it down. They were historians and they wrote it down, and it's there in Roman history. People are showing it to you. They're going and digging it up and showing it to you on paper, not on the internet that's being controlled by AI, on paper in places where its books are still not burnt up. And they're reading it and showing it to the world that this is what was going on, and they're talking about it, okay? And so real history shows from the Romans, the Romans were the ones who created Jesus to control people. They did a bad job because the Romans who created Jesus to control people, that control mechanism didn't control the Jewish people, it controlled the Romans, and it turned the Romans into Christians. And the Jewish people stayed Jews. They stayed Jewish, okay? Some Jewish people became Christians, but most of them stayed. So what happened? They created a control mechanism that actually converted the Roman Empire and 3/4 of the world to that way of life. And weirdly, that way of life was based on the Hebrew Bible. Okay, and there was a couple of other religions that were spawned from that. Every Christian religion was spawned from that. Okay, so all of the religions of the planet that are like 75% of the religions of the planet came from the Moses doctrine and the stuff that happened with Moses that the Jewish people were talking about. Okay, so all of the stuff from this philosophical and spiritual content from every religion on the face of the earth, I'm here to tell you, is telling you the same story. Well, that's why these very same people that want to be in control have to now tell you, all of a sudden, since people like me started talking about it, there's this alien race that doesn't officially exist, but they're the ones who created all the religions. But there are no aliens, but all those religions are fake anyways. Do you see what they're doing? Do you see what they're doing? They're telling you that everything is a lie, right? I had a buddy of mine who used to have that scenario that he would say to people, and if he's out there, kudos to you, Mike McGovern. He would look at somebody when we would have any kind of dichotomy, a discussion like this, or an allegory discussion, and he would say to you, "I am a compulsive liar. I can never tell you the truth. I just lied to you." And then he'd let you think about that, as long as you wanted to think about that. Okay? Mm-hmm. I am a compulsive liar. I can never tell you the truth. I just lied to you. Okay, so there's your dichotomy. There's your conundrum. There's your which came first, the chicken or the egg. And if I'm a liar, then what I'm telling you right now is not true. But I just lied to you, and I just told you that. So am I lying to you now, or was I lying to you then? Well, I just told you I can never actually tell the truth. But then I told you that I just lied to you. So does that mean I'm telling the truth? Do you see where that goes? It just goes round and round and round and round and gets you caught in a loop. What came first, the chicken or the egg? If a tree falls in the forest and there's no human in there to hear it, will it make sound? People like Socrates and Aristotle said there were no, because there is no human there, so there's no forest there. So there's nothing there to even hear, because nothing exists without a human seeing it. That was very arrogant of them at the time, but it was 4,000, 5,000 years ago, and they were still evolving. Right? So it's going to happen anyways. Otherwise, you wouldn't find it. Everybody believes it's that wave superposition state that was in physics, to where Schrodinger said if you put a box that was metal, that was airtight, and you put a cat in it and sealed it, and you launched it into space, you wouldn't know if that cat is alive or dead until you got it back out of space and opened up the box to find out about it. So the theory was, it's a game that you play with your mind, that the theory is that the cat now exists in a wave superposition state, that is both alive and dead, until you, the witnesser, make it so by opening that box. The truth is that cat is either alive or dead, and it doesn't take a human to witness it to make that cat alive. And the problem with that is that people would say, well, but you don't know it's alive until you open it. That's Pandora's box. That goes back to a theory that was Greek from 5,000 years ago. That Pandora's box was, you don't know what's in the box until you open it. But once you open the box, you can't close the box, because you can't unlearn what you've learned by opening the box. It's another allegory. It's designed to drive your mind crazy with no. It's a Kobayashi Maru. There is no successful answer to that equation. It's designed to be a puzzle that there is no answer for. The Kobayashi Maru in Star Trek was a scenario. There was a no-win scenario. No matter what you did, it was designed so that you would lose your spaceship as a captain, and you would die, and you would lose your entire crew. The whole purpose of it was to assess how you died, how you made your end. And that was what it was about. It was a character check of the captain to see what they would do in that scenario where they don't know they're not going to survive, and they would try to survive. It's an allegory, and it's designed as a game to play with you. Why do I tell you all that? Because you're living in one. There's the secrets to the universe right there. Okay? You're living in one. Hi, Chandra. I think I said hi to you when you first popped in. Okay? So you're living in one. You're living in a scenario that is designed to test you, and it's going to keep you stuck here as long as you allow it to do so. And then you have evil people who like it here, and they want to stay here. They love the power and the money and the fame that they have. Therefore, they're going to control everybody to keep you here as long as they possibly can, because this is where they live, in this place. They don't want to get out of here. So they need you, because without you, they don't have anything. They're just a person. If everybody left and they were sitting in here, they wouldn't have anything. They would be the only ones here, and they have to have somebody to rule over. Otherwise, they can't say that they're in charge. So if everybody leaves and they're the only ones here, they're the ones sitting in the pool with a ball with no one to play with, and they can't order people around, and they go, well. So they can't let everybody leave. They got to have you stuck here so that they can go, we're in charge. We're in charge. We're gods. We rule you. We own you. We own the universe too. Do you see? They have to do that. So they need worshipers, because it's physical. Without you worshiping them, for them to take, to imprison, they got nothing. Mahatma Gandhi proved that. Mahatma Gandhi defeated the English Empire by saying no, sitting down. They went home. Eventually, they packed up and went home. And the English would go, that's not why we left there. Had nothing to do with that at all. Wasn't because they did that. Nope, wasn't that at all. We did that. Nope. We just decided to leave because it was not economical for us to stay there. Yeah, because they stopped doing everything for you. They stopped doing your bidding. They stopped being your slaves, and they stopped giving you everything that you were telling them to give you. And they all sat down and went, no. And you had to just start killing people. And the more people you killed, the more people sat down and said no. And eventually no one was doing anything, and your entire economy ground to a halt, and you didn't make any money, and there was no more reason for you to stay there because they weren't doing anything for you. So they left. That's called defeat. They just didn't do it with guns and bombs. So they didn't have to, because they all sat down and said, no, I refuse. Okay? So that's what you have to do. So if you think that there's some craziness going on in the world, if you think that there's a psyop going on that's covering everything, you'll go crazy, because this place is trying to distract you into believing that it's real anyways. So then if you start listening to all the paranoia, whatever you believe is what's happening. Okay? And they'll tell you that. So officially, the same governments who will tell you that aliens don't exist and we're the only people in the entire multiverse. There's nothing, and the earth is flat, and there's nothing out here, and you can't even leave the place. Those are the same people that will let you believe aliens came down here and created you. But they don't exist because they don't want you not listening to them anymore unless they can make themselves those aliens. That's what they're trying to do. You have them saying they're Luciferians. They're descendants of Atlanteans. They're trying to tell you that they are the Anunnaki. Pretty soon, they're all going to just start saying they're Anunnaki, because people are starting to believe that the Anunnaki are the overlords. So they're all going to, all of a sudden, you're going to hear the people around the world, these people in charge of governments, they're going to, because they came out when people started believing that the Vikings existed, then all of a sudden the queen was related to Thor, a god that they don't even acknowledge exists. Queen of England, the King of England right now, claims that he was related to Thor, a god that doesn't exist officially and according to their secular ideology. Why? Because they started to realize that the Europeans, not them, but the Vikings from Norway, Finland, and Sweden had came to the New World, the North American continent and the South American continent, before they found it officially in 1492. These people were here 1,000 years earlier than that. So the only way that they could claim the land was to claim they were descendants of Beowulf and the people who did it before they did it. And that's what they've done. Okay? So the only way they can claim the earth is they have to claim that they belong to the people who own the planet. So if you believe that the Atlanteans or the Anunnaki own the planet, they're going to say they're related to them. Okay? They change whatever they need to change so that you believe whatever they need you to believe. The Roman Catholic Church changed Jesus' birthday from September to December because they were trying to convert the people in Europe who were in fact the Vikings, Southern, Western, and Northern Vikings, and they already had gods, and those gods were being born and dying in December. Christmas, Santa Claus, a story of the ascension oil that you taught to children. All of a sudden they were like, your God is our God. It's the same God. You have people doing that now where they're trying to say that Jesus was already predicted in the Chinese, ancient Chinese religion 10,000, 12,000 years ago. Because back in that time period, there was a monotheistic creator of the universe that the Chinese talked about. Not saying it's wrong. But the Chinese had one single God, not many gods, and it was the creator of the universe. And that was the God of the Chinese people for a very, very, very long time. And then someone changed their religion and they had multiple gods. And that's been what their religions have been talking about for the last 2 or 3 or 4,000 years. So you have people now going, well, look, there was God and there was the word of God from the Chinese people. So therefore, Jesus was talked about. No, but it was the same exact storyline that is about the Christ oil, that is about the Christ within you, that is about the creator of the universe, that is still out there. Well, no, wait, that was the Anunnaki. That's the only way they can stop you. It was created by the Romans, but this started before Rome. Well, that's where the Romans got the idea from. And they have you chasing the idea again and not looking at the actual message. Well, then you better find the oldest scroll. So it looks like the Chinese had the oldest scroll. We were wrong. It wasn't the Mesopotamians. It was the Chinese. But you can see that they were right next to each other. So the Chinese probably influenced the Mesopotamians. No, the Mesopotamian says it was the Greeks. The Greeks say it was the Egyptians. The Egyptians say it was the Turkish people, the people who originated that died in 77,000 years ago. That was a global empire as big as the one that we have currently. That a calamity where a asteroid came too close to the Earth and destroyed the population. Sound familiar? Wait, that's what they hope happens now. Christian rapture was supposed to happen the other day, and now they have this, and it's either going to be whatever you believe is what it's going to be. If you believe in doomsday, it's going to hit the planet. We're all going to die. If you don't believe in doomsday, it's an alien spaceship inside there, and there are creators, and we're all going to die. If you don't believe any of that, well, it might just come too close, and it might screw up things that we all might die. And then if you don't believe any of that, nothing's going to happen. It's going to come by. It's going to be a nice thing to look at in the sky. And there's going to be pictures of it, and it's going to go away. And none of those things are going to happen, but a lot of people are going to freak out about it. And then they're going to go straight back to, oh, yeah, that's right. And we're still in control of everything because we're in charge. But meanwhile, they're going to distract you any way they can because all of that is keeping you from looking at your own spiritual way, looking within yourself. And that's the message, the single message in every religion throughout every time, that the only way they can tell you is, well, first of all, those are all fake and just created. If you don't believe in aliens, and if you believe in aliens, they have a story for that too. Wait, no, that was the Anunnaki. And they came here and created everything because they're your controllers. But don't listen to that because aliens don't officially exist and we're in charge. And so what's the only way it's going to happen? The more people that believe in that, more people that believe that the Anunnaki are real, the more the people who think they own this planet and want to own this planet are going to associate themselves with the Anunnaki. They did it with the Luciferians. Those were Atlanteans. So they did it with the Atlanteans when the Atlanteans were the greatest myth of what was going on in the past. Atlantis. We're related to those people. We're in charge. Anunnaki. Wait, we're related to those people. The Anunnaki created everything. They're the overlords. They're the ones who created the human race. They created all religions. They created all governments. They created all roads, and they're paying me to talk to you right now. Where's my check? Where's my check? My fucking check, Anunnaki. I need to get paid. Okay? Meanwhile, when you go down all those roads, what's the one thing that's missing? Personal spirituality, looking within yourself, becoming a nice person and unlocking what actually unlocks in you without their control over. And that stops you from being duped by their lies because you start becoming an adult. That's what they're distracting you away from. This place is distracting you away from it. Okay, I don't even know if I'm still alive. It looks like I'm still alive, but with the way everything's been going, the way I've been shadow banned all half the day, I don't know if it's just the time of the day and my Wi-Fi, which they did work on, and the Wi-Fi is worse now than it ever has been. We had slow-ass Wi-Fi before they upgraded it to fiber optics. Now that they've upgraded to fiber optics, we can't stay online to save our lives. And my computer, which there's nothing wrong with, all of a sudden is now trying to lose connection with the internet and tell me there's not enough memory in there and all kinds of stuff and trying to get me to pay. So I think it's getting close to that edge. I'm going to have to buy myself another computer, I think, or start using my wife's computer to go live and see what happens, because this is all getting real weird. I can go live on my phone easier than my computer. Well, I think it's because my phone, it doesn't have to worry about Wi-Fi. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm going to take a look at my computer and do some research on it and see if it's got I don't think it has a virus, but it looks like it has a control mechanism by the deep state, doesn't it? Let me start talking about the deep state and watch it kick me off the air again. That's what's happening. Every time I start going down that road and stay away from spirituality, I get booted. And that's been the theme for the past 2 weeks, that I get booted offline from whatever platform I'm on whenever I talk like that. Okay, so that does happen, and we'll just have to put up some more barriers and cast a few more spells. But I wanted to come live. I've now been live for way too long, right? Almost 2 hours. Yeah, almost 2 hours from I don't know if it was the second time I went live, a couple of hours. I'm going to hop off here. But I'll be back if you guys follow me on TikTok. If you don't, look me up on TikTok. The links are, or I think I have them on Messenger. I can link it to you. Take a look at TikTok. My account is, let me tell you what it is. I think it's just like the rest of them. It's my name. So I'll give you my TikTok account. I will be live either later on today or tomorrow, one of these days before the end of the week. I'll be back live on TikTok, and my TikTok handle is, let me see here. Let me see if I can link it. It's because otherwise you'd have to just look up Leonard O'Neill, and you'll see there's one that's at Leonard, Leonard, dot, period, Kelto, Kelto, dot O'Neill, Oneill. And I'll put that up on the chat, or I'll put it up on my Facebook. And if you guys want to pop in there and follow me there, I will be going live there. Like I said, either later on today or tomorrow. I don't know which. Depends on my wife and what she's got going on, because I need moderators while I'm on there because of the same thing happening and getting shadow banned. I have to make sure that we don't have trolls trying to boot me off. And I just need to stay away from talking so much about the deep state and talk more about the spirituality, because they can't stop us from talking about that, because that's a choice. But when we talk about them directly, they can control that. So they don't like that. All right, guys. I love you guys. I'll be back live at some point on TikTok within the next few days, maybe tonight. So you might want to tune in wherever you are in the world. Hop on to TikTok, come in and smash those hearts for me. And I'll try not to get them get mad at me for talking about the deep state again, and we'll talk more about what's going on. We'll take questions from you guys, and so that'll be kind of cool to go live there. All right, so I love you guys. Have a great day. Otherwise, I'll see you on Friday. I apologize that I didn't come on. There was a lot going on. Brooke wasn't feeling good. She was sick. I wasn't feeling good. I was making some decisions and things that we were doing, and we had a lot of stuff that we had to take care of. So I couldn't go live on Friday, Saturday here in Australia, but I will be back live, like I said, a couple more times this week. Once I get this computer figured out, we'll do that. Otherwise, I'll run the show from my phone. Same thing with TikTok. I'll run it from my phone if I have to. I'm not worried about that. I can run this show and even the studio from my cell phone. I just didn't do it. I should have had the cell phone primed for the backup when this started happening. I literally used to do that when I was doing webinars, and I'd have my cell phone in the waiting room. And if the computer crashed or did something like this, I would click on my cell phone, which is on not Wi-Fi, it's on 4D, 5D, and then I would just go bink and pull that person up into StreamYard and run the show from there until the computer got rebooted, and then I would jump back in and then remove that other person, because I'd have two cameras going, and so I did that when I was promoting and producing. And I stopped doing it when I was just doing shows like this, and I just use the one platform and then go live on 3 platforms. All right, guys, I love you guys. I will see you either in TikTok or back here during the week, or on Friday or Saturday, depending on where you are in the world. And we'll continue doing and finish up the Emerald Tablets of Thoth on Orion Rising. All right, guys, I love you guys. Have a great day. I will see you guys either on TikTok or back on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram to talk more. So do you guys have any questions? You guys got to make sure you start asking that stuff. We'll do more on the TikTok, I think, and we'll talk there. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you guys when I see you. All right.